So Stephano's playing well at the Spring Arena #2. And these games were played fresh, so Stephano's still hot in the EG lair training for the Red Bull Battlegrounds. Which will be
look at that manner. Oh. I'm honored to play against you. Haha, thanks. Good luck, have fun, Hwang. Good luck, have fun.
That's true.
That is Manor Bear.
HwangSin is his real name, right?
Yes.
Cool. And HwangSin is the Red Protoss player in the top right corner.
Boom.
From Team Gosu. Don't know what team that is. Never heard of him my entire life.
Never heard of it? Let me tell you, it has probably the most fantastic coach over there that talks to all their players as much as possible.
You mean Doa?
Yes, Doa is absolutely
Eric,
amazing.
I love Eric. He's a cool guy. And in the bottom left, his opponent Stephano from Team Millennium, the Pink Zerg. And Stephano is arguably one of the best foreigners. That had, getting third at MLG Spring Arena 2 is no easy feat by any means. Stephano really comfortable in ZVP. By now, everyone has either seen his style, heard his style, or when they've seen it in some shape or form on ladder. Stephano very popularizing the 3 hatch before gas. But Antigua Shipyards is also another map where Stephano flourishes as well. Loves multi-prong aggression, especially if he can really pull his opponent away. So HwangSin has a lot on his plate, but we can vote for confidence with HwangSin for a little bit, don't you think? Do you think he's capable of taking the game off?
Of course. Yeah. I think everybody in the North American Tour is capable of taking off games of their opponents, no matter who it is. I mean, well,
there's some people who just feel untouchable, don't you feel? Like sometimes Hero, even Puma feels untouchable until Braddock was the only person to take a game, really. So it just felt.
Well, even last season, Puma lost twice. He got 2-0'd by Hasuabs. Yeah, Hero's been the only person that looks undefeated. But
it just looks really hard to touch.
Yeah,
except
but
for
even last season, Hero had a really close series with Vibe. And he went 2-1 against him. So, like, players that you might not think are capable of taking out, really super strong players, will perform a lot of upsets. And it just shows you the depth of, I think, the league. And it shows you the caliber of play that goes around here.
Well, for now, we see HwangSin going to open pretty standard. Nexus first into a Forge and Cannon Gateway. Now, we saw TT1 do this. More people are walling off on the top of the natural ramp, just more confident in their ability to hold, especially if they scout no gas. Stephano, no doubt, going to get those 3 hatcheries very easily. No contest, really, from HwangSin. Sometimes we see Protoss players like double pylon block ahead of time preemptively. Hasuabs loves doing that. None here from HwangSin.
Now, the pros and cons of this, it actually saves you a cannon. You don't have to make 2 cannons. A lot of times if you wall over here, it's forced a cannon over here, cannon over here. That is opportunity cost for your tech. Normally you want to get your 2 assimilators out ASAP, or you want to get the probe count out as high as possible, as fast as possible. So, if you get that extra cannon, obviously it hinders that. So just slight differences in build orders.
Stephano is joining up very normally now. Some things to keep in mind is Stephano's timings of his buildings, whether it be his geysers, his Roach Warren, as he'll start gassing eminently pretty soon and then start getting his Roach Warren and Evo Chamber simultaneously start +1. HwangSin has been showing lots of Warp Prism play with 7 gates, 6 gates, sometimes even not necessarily going Warp Prism, but going fast Colossus. But nonetheless, HwangSin notorious for staying on 2 base for a long time, going for strong timing attacks. And a huge indicator is his gas timings as well. Pay attention to when he takes gases number 3 and 4, which would tell us a lot about his indicating build orders.
He has switched over a little bit. I've seen him stray away from 2 base. Yeah, I think he's been doing it for quite a long time now. HwangSin still, I think, just has that reputation ever since he first came onto the scene. But I think HwangSin has kind of geared himself away towards that. I want to say he almost has a similar style to TT1 in that he likes to do, yes, aggressive styles, but he is willing to go into that macro style. And look at this. It is exactly what we saw TT1 do. Robotics first into 3 gateways. This is obviously a very effective way and a very macro standard, I guess. I mean, it really gets all your gases pretty nicely. You defend against everything pretty nicely, and you have an okay push.
That's true. The gases 3 and 4 indicate no real ability to take a 3rd base, just because HwangSin can't get enough units out really to produce for now, but he doesn't really need to. Stephano getting up his layer and his gases accordingly. Now spending his first 100 gas on that layer is very typical of Stephano. No doubt can start pumping those roaches out. Roaches, pretty good. Stephano has great control. Now the big thing with Stephano is also his control of the map. Just you can see that he's already establishing his map presence, making sure to catch anything. Stephano just really doesn't die to a lot of timings usually. He's really able to defend while expanding very aggressively. So you can definitely bet that Stephano, despite the fact that HwangSin has been hiding a lot of information, still is going to be very suspicious of his player. Especially we see a Warp Prism with 4 sentries.
He doesn't have any units that are in the way of these sentries, so it looks like he will be able to get in here. In the meantime, he is investing in Immortals, getting the Twilight Council for continued +2 attack. He actually started his +1 attack pretty late, but this is something that we've seen multiple times from HwangSin. 4 Zealots to bring as many units forward as possible, try to get Roaches, Zerglings, etc., and then come around behind with, you know, a couple of sentries and stalkers. We'll see. Sometimes he doesn't warp in, sometimes he does warp in. And he tries to get, obviously, a lot of damage done here. So we'll see how well this does. He does let this go for a little bit longer. You can see the sentries didn't go directly into the base, but let's see if he can get there.
Oh, the Queen drops to the 3rd. Stephano does have to deal with that. The Warp Prism also tries to see if he can force with the ramp. It's slightly
he misses
off.
it.
Oh no, that's not good for HwangSin, but he can warp in. That's a big story. He traps one of the Queens, and Stephano under a lot of pressure. Oh, the Roach is trying to squeeze in, but they are a little bit too fat to bypass the force field. You can see that Stephano under heavy pressure. Now the big thing is that these sentries can force field the ramp for an incredibly long time. George trying to go for the sentries, and immediately HwangSin picks up, knowing that he's actually outstayed his welcome. Killing the Queens, pretty vital in terms of letting Stephano hit that 200 purely off Roaches, but looks like HwangSin is backing off for now. Is that enough damage, Andre?
I don't know. It's hard to tell. He's at 71 Harvesters at this point, so I mean, that's really, really difficult to say. But he's retained all of his sentries. He did lose 4 Zealots, but that's a pretty measly loss. And what he's done is committed a ton of Roaches at this point. Now, I don't know whether or not to say that's enough or not, but off of this, he is starting up with an Immortal push. So you can see the thought process behind HwangSin's play. It's, let's get my opponent to force a lot of Roaches out, and then I'll get the direct counter to that. It's very similar to the Void Rays, forcing his opponent to get Hydras out, and then you go Colossus. This is going to just force the Roaches, and you get Immortals.
Yeah, and the few Immortals from HwangSin is more than enough to really hold that ramp if he can really get the count out. Now, his Warp Prism is still out into the map with sentries. His first sentries, very important energy, and Stephano just constantly maxing. Oh my goodness.
Uh-oh.
Just a sheer amount. Oh, no, no,
wrong time, HwangSin.
Oh, bad time to be these sentries out in the open. They can't cover all the area, and Stephano moves out here, and the Immortals can't even escape back. HwangSin's just going to turn around and fight for now.
He needs to get out of there.
Yeah.
And this is good. Go behind these buildings, make it really difficult for his opponent to do anything about it, and go in with his Warp Prism, try to backstab the 3rd base. But look at this. Stephano already has Roaches and a Queen back here to defend.
Oh, man.
So maybe no, that was the better choice for him to go completely backwards. But the 4th base will be taken in the bottom right-hand position, it looks like. And 5 Immortals out now. So HwangSin is looking really good. He might actually be able to carry this momentum unless Stephano can get a really nice trade. I don't know if that's even possible, though. With so many sentries, he's going to have to really target them down individually. Let's see.
Well, the force shields do block out some of the units. Stephano trying to just get more units into it. HwangSin,
beautiful.
Even better force fields to really block out the rest of the units. Now, the big thing is that he doesn't have much sentry energy left, but Stephano, the huge force of Roaches have been whittled down for now. +2 about halfway done. Stephano just going to turn on and fight anyways. You can see that the Immortals are really starting to work. A lot of them have 5, 6 Roach kills apiece. One Immortal has 11, and so Stephano is actually being pushed back into the middle of the map. Not a sight we're usually seeing.
Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The one thing that Stephano has going for him is the fact that there's a very small sentry count. As you were saying before, a lot of the sentry energy has been burned out. Now, keep in mind, it looks like HwangSin might be still in a little bit of trouble, but the Immortal count is still pretty high. And not only that, the ability to warp into this main, displacing a ton of units, and then going into the natural. That's something that HwangSin really should employ. He can actually, don't forget, blink up into this region. So there's a lot of things going for him.
It's a little bit risky. If you blink up, though, you leave your Immortals and Sentries very exposed unless you can really hatch onto them. Or, sorry, if you can ferry them upwards. You can see the Queen under heavy pressure as well. Stephano gonna barely lose that Queen, also pushing out here.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. HwangSin trying to see if he can bow into the wall and blinking upwards on top of the main and really taking a strong position. Stephano gonna call quits for now. He's waiting for his Zerglings to also trap in, but HwangSin's not gonna have any of it. He doesn't have any more Force Fields left, and here comes a huge surround with the Roaches. HwangSin doesn't have enough to hold it off. The Immortals dropping incredibly quickly, and with the Sentries have nothing left to protect. HwangSin blinks upwards, and looks like Stephano's gonna be able to even hit from the low ground as well. HwangSin under huge dedication. I mean, he's committed so much to this push, but is he gonna be able to hold off anything? He doesn't have enough army, and with the Stalkers dropping, so is hopes to stay in this game.
Stephano proving yet again why he's such a fantastic Zerg. There it is, GG, ladies and gentlemen. HwangSin will tap out. And with great momentum, HwangSin looked to be taking that game, but Stephano stopped him middle in his tracks. My God, that was beautiful display of how to stop an Immortal push. Oh my God, I can't believe that just happened.
And a lot of times it's just so easy because, it's so easy as Zerg to just throw away your Roaches when you think you're like, oh, okay, you know, the Roaches are dead. I'm just gonna make more Roaches. When now Stephano was able to do small things, wait for +2, knew that was a critical upgrade, just because it matched a +2 from Protoss. Knew to pull back and just really deal with the War Prism whenever he can. But let's take a look at what just happened, especially for the big battle. Now, the big thing, Stephano would make sure to come in from a good angle. Don't just jam in by the diamond, but look at that surround. And even if he had this surround here, Stephano knows, like, okay, I just need to back up. The Sentries are out of energy.
That's key.
Yeah.
That backup was actually the game winner right here because it stops all those Sentries. It gives the power to those bottom Roaches. And look at that. He just moves directly into his opponent. And normally, at this case, it's either you need a lot of momentum with these Immortals, keep them alive, and just win, cost efficient, and then your opponent's dead. Or it's your Immortals trade, but now I have so many Stalkers in my army that I can just be completely sufficient on Stalkers. HwangSin obviously didn't have either of those options, and it led to his ultimate demise. Absolutely gorgeous play. Stephano so good,
takes game number 1 on Antigua Shipyards. We'll find out what map and plan that HwangSin has in game number 2. Thank you so much to Twitch for providing sponsorship for NASL Season 3 in partnership with the stream, where you guys can pick up your subscriber pass, pick it up for this next game. Whatever map it's choice on for HwangSin, we'll find out if he's able to complete the upset, or will Stephano just move up accordingly. The answer after this commercial.